Hello, everybody. This is Nick Totiro, Professor of Information Technology and Computer Science, Lakeland Community College. In this series of videos, we looked at reading from files, we looked at writing from files, we talked briefly about opening those files, and we talked briefly about closing those files. As these programs, now these were very simple programs, but as these programs get more and more complex, for example, there are programs that maybe looks at many different files at the same time. Sometimes they're looking for a single line in a file. Sometimes they're looking for lots of data. So programs are constantly opening and should be closing files. Well, let's go to my screen and let's take a look at the last series of programs that I wrote for these videos. Alrighty, so we've seen this program before, and this program basically reads a line, then writes it and calculates complexity, saves it as a CSV file. We've seen that before. But this is the old file. You'll notice that I'm opening up the read file. I'm creating an object for the read file, and it's read only, and I'm opening up an object for the CSV file. I manipulate the information, and then one of the last things I do is I close those files. Now, I will tell you, and you'll hear this from different programmers all the time, sometimes we forget to close the files. Is it a catastrophic situation? No, but we're living on the edge there. So it is important to get into the habit of closing your files. Right? Python gives us a tool that expedites that for us. Now, there's generally two trains of thought about when and where to close your files. One train of thought is leave your files open until the program's completely done and then close them, right? And that's a very valid approach. Another train of thought is open the file, do something, and then close the file. That makes sure, or tries to make sure, that you're opening and closing files and you don't get into any conflicts. Python gives us another option, right? I tend to favor, this is a personal opinion, I tend to favor opening the document, doing whatever I need to do with that file, and then immediately closing and basically having a block of code. Many people follow that approach, so much so that Python has given us a tool to do that. Now, I'm not going to break down this program. I've broken down in several other videos, but I want to show you this right here. I'm still dealing with two files. I'm dealing with the CSV file, and I'm dealing with the initial write file. Now, in the CSV file, I intentionally wrote this program this way. The output file, I'm going to do the old method. In the output file, I'm going to open up the file. When I'm completely done with it, then I'm going to go and I'm going to close it, right? So I'm going to have two distinct steps with the output file. Open it and close it. Python gives us another tool. Python allows us to open a file with the with command or with function. And it's basically, it does all that file management for you. So in this with command, we say with open the file name, now this is the read file, as this object. But what it's doing is you'll notice the indentation of the remaining entries. Remember, Python takes indentation very, very serious. So this particular command, the with open command, the with open what you want as the object, is going to do all that file management for us. It's going to open up that file. It is going to execute this block of code, and when I'm done executing that block of code, it's going to close the file automatically for me. So you see, I don't have a close for that read file. So I have the with open, it's going to do the file management, it's going to open it, it's going to do whatever in that block of code, and then when I'm done with that block of code, it will close it. Could I have done the with both of those files? Absolutely. I chose just for demonstration purposes to do one way and do the other another way. I'm not going to go through the other programs. By now, you should understand the difference between the read lines, and the read line. So I want to go to the read line. And same general technique here. I have an output file. That's good. Since it's a CSV, I'm going to write the header. That's good. And then right here, I have the with command. Everything that's in the block of that with command, it's going to open up that read file. It's going to open up 99C underscore 10 million passwords.txt. It's going to open up the read only. It's going to go through that entire file, whatever in that block of code based upon the indentation. In Python, indentation is important. When it is done with the with block, it will close the file. So this is a nice method that Python provides to us that does all that file management for us. So we're not concerned where we're putting the close statements and here or there at the bottom or at the end. And we say, okay, I know most of the time I'm going to be working with blocks of code associated with file management. Why not allow Python the management? Now you'll notice I still have to close the old method. Let me stress this. The only reason I did it both ways in this file is for demonstration purposes. I could have done it the same way. I could have started with a with open on this particular file, indented everything over and worked from there. I chose not to, right? Just for demonstration. So let's run this program. This is the 10 million. I'm going to start it. I'm going to pause my screen and then we'll come back to it. Okay, and I'm back. So I wrote the file. It went through the 10 million passwords, did all those calculations. So the only difference between this video and the previous video is how I did file management. In the previous video, I opened, open, close, close. In this one, I said, you know what? I'm going to do a with open. Let Python manage those files. So after it's done with the with, it will close it. So it's a nice way to, I'm not going to say guarantee, but come close to guarantee that, you know, you're not going to get into file manipulation issues or anything like that. Let's wrap some things up. All right, I broke down this whole lecture series into 4 videos because I think it's important to kind of see each one along its given path. We have a simple read. We have a read and then doing something with the data. And when I mean read lines and read line. Then we write to a file. We wrote to a CSV file. And then finally, we use another tool inside Python to manage the file management for us. So lots of little things. It's not as challenging as many people make it out to be. It's fairly a straightforward approach. Python loves working with text files, but actually Python loves working with a variety of files, but it really shines well with text files because, like I said, a lot of open source things, text files is the lowest common denominator that anybody should be able to read. So we could export, import, we can do configuration files, etc., etc. So hope you enjoyed the videos. That being said, let's go and learn something.